Okay, everyone, hello. Today we are going to cover a visual introduction to algorithmic trading. I will show you the Python code, how to develop these charts and analysis that I have done in the article that I shared with you in the page. Okay, everyone, hello. Today we are going to cover... So we will start with a typical data set from the stock market, which is the open, high, low, close, and the volume for each one of the days, in this case for Apple. And the analysis we will perform will be to showcase the evolution of the stock price over time since a particular date, 2022, the January. Then we will calculate the cumulative return in the percentage that tells us how much money would we have earned after that period and says a 10% on our investment. Then I will show you how to work with the crossover strategy, which is a basic one to make do your first steps in algorithmic trading. After that, we will perform a backtesting in the strategy to analyze how much money have we earned after such period. We can see here that they start on the 1st of January and the 3rd of January 2022, and they end on the 31st of July 2023. At the end of this period, the strategy had a return of 6.66%. In this workshop, I'm going to show you how to develop all of these tables and analysis, as well as showcasing the backtest report, which is very common to do in backtesting and algorithmic trading, because it shows the decision points to invest in the stock at a particular time. So without further ado, let's get started. The first step we need to do is getting inside the materials that are in GitHub. If you look for Dayton's stories, you will fork the repository to create a copy of this folder in your computer. Since I have already created, I can click here. If you didn't create it, you will need to accept the terms whatsoever. Now, we will create a container with Visual Studio and Codespaces. You click on the plus and then make sure that you close the window, because later you will need to open the editor of Jupyter Lab, because it's the better way to get started with Python and data science. The best editor of code is really well prepared. So I have it here. So let's get started. The questions that we will ask is, how does the stock market data look like? How has Apple stock performed over the last years? Which technique can be used to evaluate the performance of a stock? What can we infer from the buy and hold strategy applied to the Apple stock? And what does the simple moving average crossover strategy indicate to potential investors? At the end, we'll try to evaluate which is the best strategy between the simple moving average crossover and the buy and hold. If you want to learn how to develop this analysis and it's not within the workshop, you can also click in this link where you'll go to the academy, where we have, let me show. You'll go to this academy where we have all of the materials explained step by step if you don't have the experience or you need to improve some parts like visualization with Plotly, grouping for data analysis, or the visual introduction to algorithmic trading. We also have many other cases, such as energy datasets, that you can use to improve your skills. Going back here, we start by loading the dataset. The first thing we need to know is to locate the dataset, that we have it in the data folder. It's called AAPL CSV, so I can import the pandas library. And within pandas, I'm going to look for the library CSV. Then I'm going to use the name of the file because it's inside the data folder. I tell to Python, and now I have the data set here for the Apple stock from 1980 until nowadays. I can auto-close brackets so that it will be more comfortable. And now, since we want to work with these data sets, I will save it into a variable called df apple, for example. And now we should aim to plot the data set to visualize how the Apple stock data has performed over the years. So we can go to look in Google for Plotly finance data, because they have many cool visualizations. A pretty common one in the finance is candlestick charts. They have this snippet of code that we can copy, but we need to be very aware if we copy and paste the codes from online websites because they don't have our datasets. For example, this line, we don't need it because we already have our dataset that we read previously, so we can delete it. And now the datetime probably is not necessary. The pandas PD we imported in this line of codes, so we can avoid it. Now, if we execute, it's going to give us an error because the data frame they use, they call it df. Nevertheless, ours is df apple. We copy and substitute across all of the points. We use df apple. And now if we execute, it will give us another error, which is called key error. Why? Because if I ask in the data frame, the names on the columns are date, open, high, low. They are not Apple open. Therefore, we should remove the AAPL from all of these lines. Now we execute. And there we have the evolution of the Apple stock price in an interactive chart. Because if I click inside, we can see the evolution at details. For example, let's go from 2002 until nowadays. But also the granularity is not that. We can also improve the granularity in the codes. Let me show you one trick on how to do that, because we can barely see the detail. So in the data frame, we can use a function that instead of having the daily information of the stock price, we could have the monthly information of the stock price. To do so, we will use the function resample. That they ask for a rule, which is, by looking in the documentation, a date offset. This is a rule to manage the time data. 1 second. In our case, we want the monthly data, so we will tell 1 month. Nevertheless, we get an error that says this is only valid with datetime index. And now you maybe wonder, what is a datetime index? You can see, 1 second. I need to put the datetime index is a part of the data frame, which is the left part. Now it's numbers. If we ask the index, they will tell us they are just the range index that goes from 0 until 10,800. Therefore, if we want to change the date time, we need to put this column into the left side of the data frame. To do so, we use the function setIndex, which is the column dates, and then we execute, we see the date column in the left side. To override the results, we need to save it back. And now when we ask to df Apple, we have the date column in the left side. Now, if I use the resample and I tell in the rule for 1 month, as I did before, I still get an error because if I ask in the data frame the index, I see that the objects, the type of object is not a date time as they are asking in the error. How can I convert this object that I as a user see as a date time, but the computer doesn't interpret it as a date time? I need to use a function to date time to convert it into a dates. I execute and there I have it. Now they say date time 64. I save it back, index, we execute. There we have it in the data frame. Now if I try to use the function resample, I will see in the rule that I can give 1 month, I execute, and now I don't get any error because I have converted the object into the correct form. Now, how do I want to aggregate the information? Let's calculate the average. Mean, and then I have the mean prices for all of these days, for all of these months, sorry. So I save it back. Let's call it df Apple by month. We save it. And now if I go to Apple and I put the monthly data set, I execute. Let me call it monthly. Now we get an error because the date is not interpreted. Now the date is not a column, as we can see in the monthly. The date is the index of the data frame, is not in the upper side of the columns, such as open, high, low, close, and volume. Therefore, the only way that we can access to the left side is by calling the index. And this is the value that we should place in the X. We execute. And now there we have the information more clear by each month, as you can see in this plot. We can see that during the month of January, the average low price was 142 and the highest 146. Although normally in these calculations, we would apply other metrics such as the minimum value on the lowest price and the maximum value in the highest price. Instead of doing the mean, I could try to tell and use the function aggregate until in the low, I want the minimum. Let's see if it works. Apparently, yes. So now I can keep calling to ask in the highest value to be the maximum, in the close price to be the average, makes more sense, and in the open price, also the average. We execute, then we get the values, and the last column, the volume, we should use the total, which is the sum of the trades for each month. We execute, there we have the composed data frame by each one of the months, that if we execute in the plot, we will appreciate better differences in these candlestick bars. Good. Now, if you want to practice with these tutorials, because during the workshop, I want you also to practice with these tutorials. I will be coming back and forth. So we have 10 minutes to solve this, so that you can solve this type of data visualization on your own by using the provided notebook. You can search in the GitHub repository, which is by looking in the GitHub for Dayton's stories. Then you click on the fork, click on create a fork, and open the container with this code. I leave you, let's say, 15 minutes to solve this on your own a little bit, and then we will be back. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on the comments, and I will be paying attention to them. I have an instructions that I send you to the people who subscribed to the workshop. Let me share it with you right now in the comments. Hello, Ernest. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. We're on
Oh,
live. We're on live
okay.
stream, by the way, but I have said that we are gonna have some time for them to practice, so we can chat. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. People in breakout rooms?
Sorry?
People are in breakout rooms?
No. It's just you and me, by the way. But it's like on the live streaming in case.
People still haven't joined in yet?
Sorry?
They haven't still joined in?
No, but don't worry. Like I will leave it like this, and I will continue with the lesson with you, and it should be fine. No worries.
Okay, sure. No problem.
Let me 1 second that I want to share with in the comments.
Cool.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a glass of water, and then I will join you to practice on my computer. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Okay, I am back. I muted your. Okay, good. So, can you control my screen? Can you click?
Yes, I can.
Good. If you click, okay, awesome. I am back. 1 second because I muted to. Okay, now it's good. Okay, I want to do this more interactive and more adapted to you. So, yeah, I will start from the beginning with you a little bit, and then we will move on. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So now, if I want to take this data set from the stock market and put it into Python, how would you do it? Also, I want to focus more in one particular aspect. How can I teach you to program with a methodology without looking at the solutions in Google? You know?
Okay.
So, do you know which is the best mindset to solve problems in programming?
Well,
Normally, how do you solve the problems in programming?
by problems, you mean the bugs I encounter?
For example, in this case, we want to load dataset from the stock market into Python. What do you think to solve this exercise?
Okay, the approach I usually use is just by chunking my problem into smaller bits so that I can do it step by step.
Perfect. So which would be the first step?
The first step will be to go to the platform where we are getting the data set from, and then now import it into our program.
Okay. We will continue because I think this is. We need to restart the code space. Have you worked with the Codespaces before?
Yes, I have. I actually did. Yeah.
It gives some problems. By the way, I solved the problem on the LinkedIn Learning course. I needed to change some packages, and now it's working fine.
Okay, awesome. I'll be sure to have a look at it.
If you create a code space from the beginning now, it should be working fine.
Okay.
Let me check about this. Otherwise,
what time zone are you in?
I am in Madrid, which is 4:30.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. It's actually 5:30, so actually 1 hour ahead of you guys. If it's PM, it's 1 hour ahead of you guys. I'm actually about to catch a bus. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you are about to leave, right?
Yes. I'm joining in on my phone. I'm not sure how productive we'll be able to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I could be able to listen in, but I'm happy to set up another session with you so that we can actually get on to this.
Okay.
What do you think?
That would be better. So let's talk on the LinkedIn by messages, and then we see how we set up a good, and also the workshops, because I want to change the methodology of the workshop. Maybe what I will do is just message someone on LinkedIn like you the next time, and live stream a live session with someone to help them to program better.
For sure.
So I think that
I really love that.
I think that will be better, because I am not constrained to have many people or schedules, because some people, if there is for many people, anyone would join at different times, but it's just only two person, like professor and a student. There won't be a problem.
Yeah, I absolutely love that idea. And there's something else that we could also do. You could also just give me like a brief of what we'll be covering during that specific session, so that I come even prepared, so that I can be. It becomes a smooth sailing, and then you share with me a Calendly link, and then I'll book a time where I'll be able to commit fully to to the session.
I am having this this academy where I put all of the tutorials, because everything that I teach during the workshop is explained step by step and right to the point in these tutorials. For example, the last week we covered energy sector with energy generation. And here you can see that I explain everything step by step, so you can, prior to the session, take a look at this, and then during the session, we take advantage to solve any doubt that you have while you were doing the exercises, and also redoing them, because I will help you to think the problem faster, you know?
Okay. That's amazing.
Because one of the methodology that I implement is how to develop the code without looking at Google, you know?
Yeah.
Because most of us at the beginning try to copy paste. Let me show you just briefly how it works. For example, in the problem that you had to load the datasets from Apple, you needed to use the Yahoo Finance library, right? So sometimes you don't know how is the complete name of the library, but if you put here finance, which is something that you would remember, the suggestions list, if you know how to use it, it will tell you the correct name. And then you may not remember the name of the function, but if you apply the dot and then the tab, you have the available functions here. And since you can access the functions, that is easier to remember for you. And now here you just put the Apple dataset, and there you have it. And the same would happen to, for example, if we want to plot the data to visualize it, you apply dot tab, and you look for the function that performs that. And in this case, if you want separated, if you want a different solution, before going to Google or looking at the notes, you would ask to the parameters to see if there is one that will help you do the separation of the plots. And it seems that subplots is the option. They have false or true. False is the default. So now if you use it, subplots, true, and there you have all of the lines separated. So I want to teach you how to think and how to approach the solution of these problems with many libraries, depending on the topic that we are covering. Like maybe finance one day, maybe energy another day, medical models to predict when a person will have cancer recurrence whatsoever.
Nice.
Because during the past 4 years, I have been working as a private tutor and consultant, where many PhDs and researchers got me to develop this programming analysis for them. So now I want to take all of the knowledge that I have gathered and put it into these courses and workshops, etc.
Okay.
Good.
So, I'm really sorry we couldn't be able to do this session. I actually thought I would be able to jump in and listen in, but given that we are only two of us in the session, I think it would be better off to organize a time when
absolutely
seated.
Absolutely.
So you'll send me a Calendly link?
Sure. I will send it to you, and then I will contact you on the LinkedIn, and then we can organize a schedule, and then it'll be better. No worries.
Okay, sure.
So let's be on that. I will continue explaining it so that the recording is left on the live streaming, and then we catch up or next time on after the session. I will message you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Pleasure, Ernest.
I really appreciate your time and effort, and I look forward to our future sessions.
Me too, I'm looking forward. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now that we are a little more clear on how we will carry the workshops, let's say that we are back at 1:45. Or maybe probably what I will do is I'm going to publish the tutorial of the workshop where I cover this step by step, all of the solutions. And then you can continue to do it on your own if you want. So people, have a good time. Thanks for some of you who have been paying attention to what I did, and I'll see you next time.